Representative John Mayo is here today on behalf of Speaker of the House, Billy McCoy. He represents District 25 in Coahoma, DeSoto, and Tunica counties and serves as chairman of the Conservation and Water Resources Committee and is on several other House committees, including Education and Public Health. He is known for his email updates and his blog in the Clarion Ledger that address many issues. A movie buff, he and his wife Agnes live in Clarksdale. Please welcome Representative John Mayo.
I tell you what, if y'all would play the caissons, Go Rolling Along song for an Army veteran, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, that's good. Thank you. If Jim Hood is still here, Jim, I think we need to ask for equal cumulative time in this program. Speaker McCoy sends his regrets. And I understand that our House Clerk, Don Richardson, called 87 members before calling me to appear before you. I really feel sorry for those other 34 members he did not get to, and there's a certain amount of comfort knowing you are ahead of 25% of the others in the pecking order in the House. Having just read Bob Woodward's book, Obama's War, where generals are relieved or simply retired for speaking out of turn, I fully understand my role. First, I'm a replacement. I am the setup man, the warm-up for the star. Second, and this did come across in the book, do not go off text, do not ad lib, do not speak from the hip, do not make a commitment binding the House Speaker. Do not embarrass the House of Representatives. Do not make Agnes, my wife, bury her face and say, please, John, don't tell that story again. And most importantly, do not look like a fool. So thank you, and I enjoy appearing before you today. But sorry, you're not going to get off that light. In conclusion, I would like to say three things. The first about the governor. Early on during the oil spill, the House organized a special oil spill committee. Governor Barbour appeared before that committee and spoke for about 30 to 45 minutes. I was really impressed, very impressed, that not once did he repeat himself. He had a command of both the technical and anecdotal information, and he delivered both effortlessly. Not once did he turn to his staff lined up against the wall to his right, and ask, is that correct, or what specifics do you have on that? I said it after his speech to him personally, and I'll say it one more time. The governor could and should write a book on how a political person, a head of state, should respond to a disaster in his state. The book would make an interesting read for political leaders. And I also would extend to him, and since he's not here, I wish you'd tell him I said some good things about him. I would extend to him the appreciation of a Delta person for locating a German stainless steel plant in Tunica. I hope that this will be the first of many bees finding their way to our hive in Northwest Mississippi. Governor, thank you from the bottom of my heart. The second, during this past spring and summer, I'd made more trips to the Gulf Coast than I have since I moved to Mississippi in 1957 as chair of the Conservation Committee. The oil spill was and will remain a tragedy to the coast for several more years. I was impressed by the coast, its role in the environment and the economy of the state of Mississippi, but most especially to the people who live there. And I say this in a very good way. Every section of the state is different, but the coast is different. My good friend and my row mate, Representative Scott Delano, pointed out that major difference. Around the state, there are a few individuals who own a lot of land, but the resource the coast has is the Gulf of Mexico. No one owns it, yet everyone owns it. You protect it, you respect it, and you get really upset when someone attempts to pollute it. Democrats and Republicans alike come together to protect your major resource. In this time of divisive politics, I appreciate that, and you are to be commended for protecting yours and our major resource for recreation, economic development, and personal livelihoods. And I do want to go off text a little bit. I know there's some folks from BP here. I just want to say, Margaret Laney, your representative on the Gulf Coast, I don't know what the other people thought, but I respect that woman. She did an excellent job being the face for BP, and you should commend her for the work that she did. And finally, I don't have to tell you, you've heard it from everybody before, that we are facing a lean year and leaner than the last two. Quite frankly, and I'll be the only person up here that says this, I would hope that there is some room where we can combine further cuts with some increases in revenue streams. It is incumbent upon us to look for ways to continue to provide mental health services to persons and families who absolutely cannot take care of themselves, nor can their families. Do you know that right now there are 80,000 children, not people, 80,000 children in Mississippi needing our services, and we cannot afford to provide them. We have to fund education at a level that does not require local governments to raise property taxes. It's just another tax that, quite frankly, is worse on business than trying to find other revenue. Any cuts we make to fund community and senior colleges are going to cause a backdoor tax increase on the middle or the aspiring middle class in the form of increased tuition. Now, while I've got some thoughts on enhancing revenues, quite frankly, I've already introduced the sugared up soda tax bill. I'm not sure the House, and certainly not the public, is in any mood for any increase in taxes, and I recognize that. I believe the bottom line will be that no matter how much we hang our head, empathize with those we are going to hurt, and make no mistake about it, we're going to hurt a lot of people, especially in mental health. Whether it's the governor's budget or the legislative budget, we need to prepare for cuts. They are here, they will be deep, and Mississippi will feel them. In the absence of doing anything serious about raising money, there is absolutely no alternative. Now, I heard the folks from the news site speak earlier of what could have, would have, and should have been in this area. I tell you, it's a heck of a lot easier to sit in their chair than it is to sit in the chair of a legislator. Now, that's about all I'm going to say on those controversial issues. So with any luck, unlike some generals who's commented from the hip, were subsequently called into the president's office for a tongue lashing and then fired, I won't be in Jackson tomorrow with the face-to-face meeting with the Speaker. I hope the House wasn't embarrassed, and I have not added to or taken away from my resume as a Speaker at Hobnob, and my wife will go home with me and talk. Thank you.